Okay, rather than mope around all day while we decide what to do about our pinholes, decided we'll move on and we'll test some stuff for ourselves. Because yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious if how different it is if I do it with the V-notch. So I'm going to mix up enough Ardex to get a second coat on this piece so that tomorrow I can set some tile into it. I'm going to mix up a small batch of Ardex, a small batch of thin set, and put 4 pieces on. One side using the V-notch the way I think I misunderstood and you're supposed to do, and another doing it the way I did it. So we'll see, does it do this when I do it thin, and it does it, this was the corner. See how it's not really tearing the fleece up like it did with my test with a thin set, which did use a V-notch. So yeah, let's give this a try, and then tomorrow we can peel these up, kind of get a feel for what's going on. And if there's a major difference, that'll be more reason to tear everything out. But if there's not a huge difference, we'll see. Okay, moving pretty quick. So I'm skin over. I got a coat on that. Came over here, put some in with the V-notch, and then put some on the way I was doing it on the wall. So you can see it's thin, just not as uniform. This will give us a nice uniform coverage. So, and in the Schluter videos, you can see little rows underneath. They're saying medium pressure just to get that to level out. So that's what we're going to do. And then this side, I'm going to do it the same way that I did it because we want a repeatable experiment, right? So again, I don't think to really hold the camera. Bucket, maybe a bucket. God, there's too much crap in here. What a mess. So same two tools I used as well. We'll clean these up and use them on the thin set. All right, so this is the same way I did it. I pushed pretty hard and I squeezed all that crap out. Right. So yeah, there's a repeat of what I did all over the walls. Now. Oops. Well, this is a nice thing about not caring about the rest of the bathroom, right? And here with the light, I can see those ridges. So if I hold this down, medium pressure, and just take the ridges away, that is significantly thicker. Yeah. I guess I don't want to do too much, right? The whole point is to do it differently. So that's it. I'm just going to leave it like that. We don't care about surface finish because it's not on the real wall. So on the side, so there's the way I did it on the whole damn shower. And here's with the V-notch. I don't see a huge difference, but the difference might, well, it felt different. This feels thicker, but not by much that you can see. So we'll see. We'll find out tomorrow, right? Well, shit, even tonight when we get home from work should be enough curing time, but I think we'll give it a full 24 hours. I think that's better for experiment. So let me run downstairs and get some of the Schluter All-Set mixed up, and we'll do another board. But I want to clean these off first. Round 2, well, yeah, part 2, whatever, with the Schluter All-Set. This is the same stuff, same consistency I used for the tile test for the glass tile to make sure it's stick. And I was really impressed. I mean, it peeled up membrane, like a significant amount of it. Like it pulled up the lines off of this thing. So we'll see how it goes. I'm doing the same as before, trying to reproduce what I did over here, kind of thin. I'm going to push hard, and then reproduce their videos where they just push, the lines out as if they're setting tile, really. So let's see, get this one all set up. Yeah. Okay, so hold it, go pretty hard, squeeze it all out like a madman, like I did before. Only difference being this is an Ardex, this is actual thin set. So Yeah. There we go, good enough. And same thing here, we can kind of see the rows underneath the fleece. Medium pressure, I'm gonna push the junk out. So now I've got, hopefully you can see it on camera. There's rows on top. You can see the rows, and then down here it's flat. I think that's the ticket, right? So medium pressure. I'm not pushing as hard as the other one. That's it. We're going to call that embedded, right? We're not going to go straight on it. Well, I think the other side we did twice, right? So real light. Boom. Boom with thin set. So now tomorrow morning, well, frankly, even tonight, it should be set up by tonight, but we want to give it a fighting chance. More time is better than less time, right? So we'll let these set up, and then tomorrow morning, whenever I wake up, we'll peel all 4 of them back and see what we think. If they all peel back, right? If they peel and they turn out like this, regardless of the method, then I'm not going to worry about the shower so much. I'm just going to seal that up and go. Okay, so try to draw my thoughts best we can here. Essentially what we have, if we were able to zoom in some kind of microscope, we'd have this waterproof membrane, right? And then either as part of it or bonded to it as part of their process, they felt it. So there's these little hairs sticking up, almost like the soft side of Velcro, but so small it's hard to see, right? It's difficult to see the fibers sticking up, but they're there. And the idea is that, if 2 of these membranes are sandwiched, that you don't have your hard part of your Velcro and your soft part. You got 2 soft parts rubbing together. It's kind of lewd. And then your thin set, or in our case, the Ardex, is underneath all of these, kind of acting as the hard part of the Velcro. So it holds it all together, binds it together. And like Isaac was talking about, if the material skimmed over, right? So what we might have is that it's bonded into the one side, right? So like over here, it's bonded into the baseboard because I put it on immediately, pushed it into that board, and it bonded with the little curls. And then when you go and put this side on, because there's a skin coat, you're not pushing a liquid material up inside. You're pushing, so here's all your little hooks, and then you have essentially like a bed sheet hanging over it. So it doesn't actually bond with them. It just sits on top. And maybe a couple little, just the tip, right, goes in. It makes it stick up there, but you still have this teeny tiny, invisible to the naked eye, which would essentially be an air gap between all of these. So there could be, like, see how that bounces out, right? Like it's stuck to the wall. It's not that stuck. Maybe it's stuck enough that there's not that many paths for water to get through, but down there was a path, right? It came through the ceiling. And then option 2 being that if we don't have enough material, right? So if here's our stuff bonded together, and the kind of overlap, right, and intertwine with each other. Well, if we have them so close together that they're squished flat, right, and there's really, you'd have, instead of those nice, here's my hooks, and then there's a bunch of material gluing it, this space here being that little space in between the 2 membranes. Well, if they're super close together, instead of hooks, we just flattened all the felt out. Like that could be the case too. So there's a lot of ways, at least in my mind, that this stuff can screw up if you don't have proper insulation. So that's my big fear right now, is that the way I installed it would fail with Ardex or thin set or anything, right? So I think that's what we're going to find out tomorrow. Let these things cure up, and then we'll peel back her skirt and see what she's got. It's the next morning. And like we had looked here, this one just didn't seem very well bonded. And we had to pull on it. I don't think it's going to pull that on its own. But here's our test from yesterday with doing the V-notch on one side and then the way I did it, which I think is improper on the other. I just want to see how they compare to each other. How does the Ardex compare to the thin set? And how the two methods compare. You know, is this something where if they're really similar and I'm not worried about this peeling back up, then I think we'll be in really good shape. But if this is significantly stronger, then we'll have to give some thought to it. So yeah, so like it peels up and you can see the pattern, right? And it's got kind of an orange tint to it. So I must be leaving some of the fleece in. Yeah, I mean, I can pull off one hand. It wasn't super difficult, but I don't think it's not going to pull down on its own without, you know, someone else doing it. Well, this one, I don't know. Maybe it'll just be harder to get under the edge, or maybe it is that much stronger. No, it's not. It's not any stronger. I can still pull it up with one hand. It looks the same. Let's keep these together. The background of it looks the same. Has a little bit of an orange tint, like it left some material in there. It's got a little pattern in it. When I turn them over, they both have like a glossy look to them, but that's also both Ardex. So let's see if we get any different results with the thin set. But so far, this makes me not feel bad about the thinner way, the way that I did it. I mean, that's, if I took the labels away and asked you which was which and you couldn't see the V-notch part, this is clearly thicker, right? I can see down here, I can see the lines a little bit, and you can tell the material's thicker, but as far as how well it was sticking, right, no difference at all. So, and maybe that's the Ardex and not me, right? So maybe over here these will be different. We'll find out. Maybe they should be different just because it's a different material. Nope. It's actually easier to pull up, right? So look at that. But that's also, this is the thin side. So you can see a bunch of the fleece that's stuck in the thin set, right? And we got some stuck to the back instead of this glossy. See the difference there? But it's still, this was as easy to pull up as these were. There was no noticeable difference. That may be because I'm a gorilla, but no idea. Same thing, yeah. So the only real difference I'm seeing, all four of them felt the same in my hand peeling them off, right? It felt like this is stuck to it. Now these, it's a lot more fuzzy, right? And there's thin set kind of on the back of the piece, whereas these were very glossy. There's a little bit, I guess there's a little bit of fuzz, but it certainly doesn't feel the same. So even though they were just as easy to peel up, this left some felt behind. I think the thin set gives it a little bit better bond, but honestly, I'm really happy with this because what it tells me is that this bad method that I was worried about, where I have it quite a bit thinner, it stuck to the wall just as strong as this other stuff stuck to the wall. Now, if there is some kind of an air gap going on, you know, like tiny, something you wouldn't be able to see with your eyes. It's like maybe, yeah, this is stuck, but it's able to seep through easier than the thin set for some dumb reason. Still not worried about it. So this tells me I don't need to tear all of this out. Right, I can leave this as it is. We're going to cover it in Ardex, make sure it doesn't leak, do another flood test, and we're going to get on with our lives. So, because realistically, if the Ardex is doing its job, which it didn't there, right, then we don't need the Kerdi, right? I just wanted both, so I have 2 layers of protection. So, it's unfortunate that happened, but I don't want to chalk it up to bad luck. There's usually a reason, right? There's part of me that was thinking maybe there's one spot that I overlooked, right? And then air was able to push out at some point during the drying process and poked these bubbles through, you know, instead of them just being there. But yeah, I think the answer here is, you know, the more better, right? Just put some more Ardex on it. So I almost forgot. Item number 2 is that I got a second coat perpendicular strokes on this guy. So I'll cut up 2 pieces of tile, so we have 4 total pieces again, and I'll do a mini batch of thin set, get some tile put on this, so that starting tomorrow we can start peeling that up as well. Just make sure that, you know, it's not going to fall off of the Ardex for some reason. I mean, given the texture of it and stuff, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't stick and do just as well as last time. But it will be interesting to see when we peel the tile up, does it peel off of the Ardex, or does it peel the Ardex off of the fleece? So I'm curious about that as well.